Welcome, everybody, to Homestead-Miami Speedway. We'll be racing into the sunset here tonight for the HTL Champ Car Light Series season here in Florida. Race 412 tonight from the Sunshine State. And it's going to be an interesting one. If practice so far has been an indication, 4 wide possible at times here tonight. Tight-knit field once again for the Champ Car Lights Series and HTL. We appreciate everyone spending your time with us here on a wonderful Thursday evening for racing here. For everyone tuning in, I'm Carmen, Sienna. Welcome everyone to ABN Studios on YouTube. We had an exciting race last night, the ABN Champ Car World Series at Atlanta. We go just slightly down I-75 to Homestead-Miami Speedway, located in Homestead, Florida, just outside the Miami metro area. This 1.5-mile paperclip shaped oval is everything but tiny here in Florida. For these cars, they are 205-mile-an-hour behemoths taking on 83 laps here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Points after Gateway, they're a bit crazy. They're a bit tight. It's Josh Susi, top of the board. Kick things off here in Homestead-Miami. He's leading by a single solitary point over Shad Swatsworth, DeMonte Dotson, Garnet Adams, top 4, separated by 5 points. Byron Jones, just 7 points adrift of the top spot in the top 5. Evan Eisenman, 87 points to his credit so far through the opening 3 races. Davis Mills Jr. in 8th, Riley Dunn 9th, Bobby Blowers top 10, Noah Hunt and Kyler McCarthy rounding out the top 12 here in Homestead. Eli Sasek, Blake Henderson, you start looking at some of the drivers that have not run full-time in the first 4 races this season. Nick Pressey, Christina Ryan, John Matthews, Ryan Pinnell, Nick Wheeler also in that top 20 there. Just as that top 20 did not have a great showing in their first race. Jeremy Breo, Josh Gaiman, John Hagan, and Tucker Sawyer. The top 24 cars that have run races so far this season. The season is very much in play for those at the front of the field. Again, top 5 separated by 7 points. The top 3 separated by 3 points. It's going to be a very interesting time period indeed here tonight. Qualifying not too far away. It has not yet occurred. But obviously it's going to be a lot of fun seeing everything take place here later on this evening. Less than 2 minutes left for drivers to put stuff together. A smaller field, 10 cars. But all 10 cars have a really good shot at potentially going for the race win here tonight. You just got to really put it together and survive 83 laps here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Let me see that has been a challenge at points throughout this season. Everyone knows the limits of these cars a little bit better now. We'll see how well they drive together at one of the first big oval races of the season. About 90 seconds left to go in the start of this season. Again, a reminder, every Thursday we'll be seeing the HTL Champ Car Light Series. We head from Homestead-Miami. Tonight, 7 days' time, we'll be in Phoenix under the lights at Phoenix Raceway. That will be an absolute blast. And then we head to Indianapolis for the HTL Freedom 200 at the Brickyard on August 29th. Thursday nights are built for racing at 210 miles an hour. A lot going on between now and next Thursday. Saturday we have the HTL, we have the RX High Octane Series returning once again Saturday night. Saturday afternoon it is the ABN High Performance Championship back in full song. 2 weeks from now it'll be the start of the Platinum Endurance Championship season, so we'll get to see that on Saturdays as well. Coming up here very soon on August 31st at Road America. Sunday, it is the Winstall Cup Series and the RX A Square Cup Series. We'll see all of them on Sunday, and then Monday, it is the HTL Firecracker 400 from Daytona at 8 p.m. on ABN1 on Twitch. So a lot going on here throughout the next few days. Tomorrow's an off day. Going to be much needed after the calamities and the hecticness that has been this past week in racing on ABN. with the time ticking down. We'll see the checkered flag fly. David Smith Jr. fastest in practice. See if that can translate over to qualifying. Everyone's got 4 laps to try to make something count here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Very quick lap times too. 26-second laps here in Homestead-Miami. Qualifying underway, and everyone's got 5 brief minutes to get it all put together. Riley Dunn will be one of the first ones to put something on the board. Let's go ahead and see what Riley Dunn can do. Riley Dunn's number 77 car. Raced for a brief time in the World Series back in Season 2. Trying to work his way back into the World Series. Here in the Champ Car lights. Several cars on track. Riley Dunn just the first of the bunch. Will follow along with his qualifying run as everything gets started in Miami. Running the top lane on this opening lap. Dunn running neck and neck in qualifying with Chad Swatsworth. Sasek, though, might be the one to watch. But Sasek running the inside lane lap 1. Dunn and Swatsworth building up speed. First laps on the board. It will be Eli Sasek the top of the board over Swatsworth and Dunn. Dunn, though, no novice to open wheel racing. We'll see what Dunn can do after using that first lap to build up speed. Easy arc through 3 and 4. Sasek still top of the board. David Wright, Noah Hunt slot into the top 5 provisionally. Riley Dunn, is it going to count for him here? It does. It's good enough to take pole away for just a moment. Sasek goes fastest once again on his second lap. But they're separated by milliseconds. And you see the fastest lap time for Dunn for a moment. 199.87 miles an hour was fast enough. He's on lap 3. He's going to have one more lap after this to try to go for pole position. Can he get it? I don't think he's close enough. He is not. Beginning to drop off a little bit. Chad Swatsworth just goes top of the board. 26.50 for the 18 for Arrowhead Racing. Chad Swatsworth, the championship contender, in the mix. Susie, only 7th fastest at the moment, but he's on lap 3. Can he make it count? Well, final lap for Dunn and everyone else. Swatsworth staying on pole position, and that is secure. What about Josh Susie? One of his lowest starting positions so far this season. 196 miles an hour. David Smith Jr. just goes to the top with a 26.48 for his fastest lap. Absolute rocket ship in qualifying there for David Smith Jr. And there goes Josh Susie. Phenomenal first half of his lap on lap 4 is enough to steal pole position. Kyler McCarthy on his qualifying run now. What can he do? Josh Susie returning to pit lane, 201.41 miles an hour. McCarthy gonna be cutting it close on time. DeMonte Dotson starting from the back of the field. What can McCarthy do? First lap in the books. We'll go 9th. 195.19. It looks like a lot of the times came late in the run. Less than a minute for Kyler McCarthy. What can he do? In the number 24. At Chevrolet, rocking and rolling. Lap 2 complete. 2 laps left. And he bailed out of it. He completely bailed out of it. Going 200.39 miles an hour. Bailed out of it on his 3rd lap. Will not attempt anymore. Had 4 laps, but will not use them. Returning to pit lane, it'll be Josh Susie on pole position here this evening over David Smeal Jr. Very thin margins here. Comparing the speeds, 201.41 miles an hour. Josh Susie's fastest lap. David Smeal Jr. not far away. His fastest lap at 201.02 miles an hour. And Noah Hunt in third there. So this is where things get very, very, very interesting coming up in just a moment's time. Again, for those tuning in, this is the ABN Esports coverage of the HTL Champ Car Light Series from Homestead-Miami Speedway. We're happy you're with us here this evening. Point standings as they run going into this race. Josh Susie leads with 100 points. It's a singular point at the top of the standings. That's the difference here in Miami. We're excited to see it. Starting grid, bottom of your screen is where they pop up here. Josh Susie, David Smeal Jr., they're your front row here this evening. Josh Susie, the championship leader. David Smeal Jr. looking to jump into that conversation in force. Has not had a lucky couple weeks, did not have a great time at Gateway, was not fortunate at the Charlotte Roval either. Let's see if he can turn it around here in Miami. Looked really strong in practice. Row 2 coming up here. It's Noah Hunt on the inside lane, the 45, alongside Shad Swatsworth. They're the top 4. 5th place is marked by Eli Sasek. He's along David Wright. They complete the 3rd row of the field of this 5-row grid. Row 4, Kyler McCarthy alongside Riley Dunn. Kyler McCarthy, obviously, as we mentioned earlier, did not complete his qualifying laps. Ran 2 and parked. Evan Eisenman, last car to set a qualifying time. He'll line up alongside DeMonte Dotson, who elected to start from the rear of the field under his own volition. With the sparks and the fireworks expected here in Miami, he'll get to see all of it from that 10th spot. Gonna be some amazing camera work here. Looking from all the way in the back of the field. Here is DeMonte Dotson. Center of your screen. He's in 10th. That's where he's going to start tonight's race. And we are going to see a lot of passing. High speed, high stakes, high drama here tonight. Looking forward to an absolute show. And Josh Susie and David Smeal, top of the board. It's time to go racing once again, live from Homestead, Miami. We're racing in Miami. 83 laps, 200 kilometers, showtime, and trouble early. Noah Hunt, huge crash early. Caution out, David Smeal Jr. involved. Evan Eisenman, trouble early as well. Kyler McCarthy in trouble as well. And you see the damage on the 45 on lap number 1. Something happened to kick all this off. Let's look to see what happened. Kyler McCarthy, and it looks like Evan Eisenman involved. And Evan Eisenman just clobbers McCarthy. Noah Hunt clobbers that outside wall. Huge impact. David Smith Jr. for Noah Hunt, just really antsy on the inside lane. Really held on to that white line very long. Now obviously you saw the damage that was done to his 45 car. Riding on board with him in slow motion, and you just get a sense for how narrow those margins are. He crosses over that white line and just keeps flirting with it, and then you see him have to counter steer, and it's already gone. Luckily, everyone has a fast repair, and everyone has the chance to get a free pass if we have more cautions in this race. But not a great way to start if you're Noah Hunt. Even worse way to start if you're David Smeal, who had a front row starting position. Rookie error on the half of the 45 car. See, there is Kyler McCarthy and Evan Eisenman, who got bailed out by that caution on the exit of turn 2, because they would have had to have gone a lap down to get repairs. Evan Eisenman still went a lap down. So he is still down a lap here. David Smeal Jr. still in pit lane. Same with Noah Hunt. They are now 2 laps down, so they have got a long way to get back in. And for David Smeal Jr., we talked about his bad luck. It continues here in Miami in the worst ways. Lights out on the pace car at the front of the field, meaning we're going back racing at the end of this lap. 3 laps is what not Evan Eisenman, but David Smeal Jr., Noah Hunt, that's what they lost. And you see them still sitting on pit lane. And the work that is being done to get those cars back up and running here in very short order. Single file restart, since we did not complete the first lap under green. Noah Hunt will come out on track here in 9th. David Smeal Jr. also returning to the racetrack. Again, not impossible for them to get back on the race, especially if some of the other leaders have issues. And as we've seen on lap 1, it doesn't take much to spin these cars around. See, there is David Smeal Jr. catching up to the back of the field right on time as the pace car takes the hard left into pit lane. It will be Susie, Sasek, Swatsworth, Dunn, and Dotson top 5. Green flag in the air, and away we go. Showtime once again, this time for real. Here comes the 42 of David Wright on the racetrack. Monte Dawson, the 47, up in front. David Wright up to 6. Got around McCarthy pretty easily there. Eli Sasek, front of the field. Got around Susie. So did Swatsworth, and so did Riley Dunn. And immediately to the bottom of the racetrack goes Sasek, trying to defend from Swatsworth. Ooh. Close right there between Swatsworth and Sasek. Swatsworth in the 18, Sasek in the 9. Dunn in the 77. Dotson's moved up to 4th. Gotten around the points leader. All the cars on track at the moment. Again, needing a little bit of a miracle if you're Noah Hunt and David Smeal Jr. Laps off the pace at the moment. But here we go. Still side by side. Sasek unimpeded. Swatsworth trying to find his way around the long way around. Here in Miami. Dunn to the inside. Dotson goes to the outside lane. Susie trying to defend from Evan Eisenman, who's trying to race his lap back. He's only 1 down. He would love to not have to use the free pass if he can do so. He's got the ability to race for that lap back. Obviously easier said than done at the moment. Eisenman in the mix of all of this. His teammate leads the way. Dunn sitting in 3rd behind Swatsworth. Things settling down just a little bit as far as Riley Dunn's concerned. He decided to drop backwards with where Josh Soucy's at. Meanwhile, Sasek and Swatsworth stay side by side. Dotson now in the mix, and there's Kyler McCarthy getting in front of David Smeal. Or not David Smeal, David Wright. Talk about cutting a little bit close. Monte Dawson sitting there in third. Swatsworth on the outside lane. Sasek on the inside, leading the way. And the laps ticking away rapidly. Side by side. Eisenman dropping back just a little bit. Outside lane gaining some forces here. That is McCarthy third in line on the outside lane in front of David Wright and Riley Dunn there fifth in line. Only two cars in the inside lane at the moment are the Ascent cars. The 9 of Sasek, the 44 Eisenman. As the racing continues. Here at Homestead-Miami Speedway, Swatsworth gets the lead down the back straightaway, trying to hold on to it to 3 and 4. That's where Sasek's strong on that inside lane, but the outside momentum works in the favor of Swatsworth, who leads lap 14. Last time the real-life IndyCar Series raced at Homestead-Miami, it was with these cars, 2010. And it was racing not too dissimilar to this. Sasek holds on that white line for dear life. Swatsworth leads another lap. Fastest lap, Josh Soucy, 26.14. But right now down in 7th spot. Last car running on the lead lap. Dotson shadowing the 18. Looks a lane higher. Sasek led that lap to end lap 16. On to 17 now. Swatsworth really gets a really good run going, especially the further down the road, the back straightaway. It seems like turn 4 just a little bit easier for Sasek to battle back to lead that lap as well. Also seems like Sasek's being held tighter on that bottom lane by Swatsworth entering through 1 and 2. But not able to really hold him as tight at the bottom of the racetrack in 3 and 4. Sasek's still running a little higher up the racetrack, and it's allowing him to have that space. Here comes Eisenman, peeks to the inside. That would have been disastrous for Sasek. And an absolute treat for Swatsworth. Sasek did not have a great night last night at Atlanta. Looking to redeem himself here in Homestead. Eisenman peeks to the inside lane. Swatsworth again knows what the limits of that 18 car is. Not getting wheel to wheel with him just yet, but knowing how to pinch that 9 car down the racetrack. McCarthy moves to the inside lane. A little bit of contact there. That gives Sasek all the advantage that he needs to clear down the front straightaway. But he needs to be careful because Eisenman is still trying to get his lead lap back. He is still working at trying to get back on the lead lap. Swatsworth goes right to the wall. Sasek follows him up. Again, rapid lap times here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. We'll pull up the speed chart for Eli Sasek. Front of the field, 201.5 miles an hour consistently. Doing an outstanding job. For Chad Swatsworth, it's even better. 201.74 miles an hour. Again, absolutely wild stuff at the moment. Right on board here with David Wright. 202.5 miles an hour. That's the average lap speed. That's not peak speeds for these cars. This is the average lap. They slow down and shave off some speed with how trimmed out they are in the corners. David Wright still averaging a hefty sum. You can see where Evan Eisenman's fallen back too. Josh Susie riding around, cruising in that 7th spot. Watching everything unfold in front of him. He has the fastest lap of the race, 203.6 miles an hour, his average lap speed so far. That is a 26.14 second lap here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Kyler McCarthy has gotten himself to the front of that outside lane and trying to get clear and not afraid to really push that 9 car down the racetrack, down the front straightaway. Swatsworth to the inside lane. Not going to make it 3, but not helping McCarthy either. Swatsworth really grabbed that white line, almost spun it around, similar to what Noah Hunt did at the start of the race. Instead, salvages it, but drops a spot down to 4th, behind Dotson. Dotson now on the podium. And remember, these drivers still have to make a pit stop at some point too. Swatsworth almost grabbed too much of the white line once again, straddling that fine line between out of control and just out of his mind. And for everyone tuning in, this is the HTL Champ Car Light Series in a nutshell. We'll see this again at Phoenix in a week. Sasek leads the way, moves to the outside lane, covers off McCarthy, and back down the racetrack he goes. Trying to work both lanes here. Really just trying to keep McCarthy in check, with Swatsworth in tow. And McCarthy keeps Swatsworth in check. Keeps Swatsworth from going to the outside lane where he was before. Whoa, a little bit of contact between the 24 and the 18. And here comes Swatsworth to the inside lane. Sasek can't cover it off. They're middle 3 wide for the race lead. Sasek to the front of the field. He has been dispatched by Swatsworth. Sasek in the middle, still 3 wide. Evan Eisenman backed out of it pretty quickly there. Here comes DeMonte Dotson from the top lane to the bottom. Sasek leads at the line, but Swatsworth with the advantage in the lane. McCarthy trying to follow Sasek around turns 1 and 2. But now it's Swatsworth in the inside lane. Swatsworth and Dotson versus McCarthy and Sasek. 2 by 2 at the front of the field. David Wright shadowing in 5th, ahead of Susie, ahead of a couple of lap cars. That was Eisenman to the inside. David Smoot Jr. in the 27, getting impatient, being 2 laps down. And Riley Dunn is taking his time, sitting near the back of the field, waiting for the balloon to pop. Sasek's lost all of his momentum. McCarthy to the outside lane in front of Sasek. Dotson's up to 2nd. First time race winner came last time out at Gateway, Byron Jones. Are we going to see another? We've had 3 winners in 3 weeks. Do we go 4 for 4? The chances are very high. Garnet Adams won at Michigan. Josh Susie won at Charlotte. Byron Jones won last week at Gateway. Susie right now fastest lap of the race, but it's about being there on lap 83 that matters, and Kyler McCarthy almost made sure he wasn't one of them. 3 wide, he'll drop a spot, maybe 2, as he stays on the inside lane. There's Dotson, the 47 was in the middle, 3 wide. Here comes David Wright, and here comes the challenge. Everyone jockeying for positions down the back straightaway as the laps rapidly tick away. More than 2 laps a second, or 2 laps a minute, excuse me, for these cars. 26 second lap times. 2 laps every 50 seconds. 83 laps is the scheduled race distance. We're on lap 34. Swatsworth now the race leader. Sasek trying to find a way around. Kyler McCarthy trying to force his way through the inside lane. McCarthy gave him half a lane, but no more. Outside lane still being led by DeMonte Dotson, who is very much more calm at the wheel and more forgiving, surely, than Swatsworth, McCarthy, and Sasek have been on the top lane so far. Again, it's been a wild march to the front of the field for several of these cars. 10 cars, you can still put together an absolute amazing spectacle of a race. And that's what they're doing right now. And Swatsworth has the entire track to play with. Outside lane to the bottom, takes the air off the 9, and the 9 has to let off the gas to keep from that car shooting up the racetrack in a tight understeer. And it gives McCarthy the advantage for second. McCarthy stays to the outside lane, going for the race lead. Trying to grab it. Trying to do what Dotson has not been able to do, and that's lead from the outside lane he does. McCarthy, the 24 on point. And oh, trouble, McCarthy gets spun around. So goes Dotson, and so goes most of the field. David Smeal Jr. involved again. David Wright Jr. involved. Huge crash. Collects most of the field. And a shower of sparks and carbon fiber. Dotson already off the racetrack, towing back to pit lane. And he may not be the only one, because that 18 car from the lead of the race to stuck, beached, with nowhere to go. Same with Kyler McCarthy. DeMonte Dotson. He gives Eli Sasek the race lead over a bunch of cars that are now no longer put together in one piece. You see Riley Dunn still struggling. He's going to give up that fight finally. Eli Sasek will come down pit lane. Evan Eisenman coming down the pit lane as well. There's not a lot of cars left in this race. The cars that are left are absolutely destroyed, and obviously this is a very complex situation where you're in now. A huge crash leaves Sasek and David Wright, the only cars on the lead lap. So let's go back and take a look at just what happened here. This is, we're looking at Eli Sasek. He is second in line on the inside lane. Riding on board with him is going to be an absolute wild time. This is riding on board with Sasek. Very fortunate for Sasek, too. Again, we'll look at Chad Swatsworth here. And we'll actually go up a little bit above here. We'll see if we can get one of our chopper cams to go and take a look at this. From Swatsworth, McCarthy, and Dotson. In slow motion. A little bit of netcode helps, but there's going to be contact no matter what. The lines that they're taking, there's going to be immediate contact there. For Dotson, maybe not so much. Definite netcode victim there. And you see just the clobbering there. David Smeal Jr., a huge contact hit there. Obviously, you look at David Wright in the 42. He tried to avoid a decent chunk of that. Riley Dunn's race effectively over. Kyler McCarthy, his race absolutely upside down. There's Chad Swatsworth there. Obviously, we saw what he was trying to make happen there. David Wright Jr. How he kept his car from needing to be towed is insane. So you see DeMonte Dotson in trouble there. There's a bunch of cars in trouble. Josh Susie, one of those cars that needed a lot of help. You see he has got no front end steering at all on that 81 machine. And David Smeal Jr., his race effectively over. And David Wright will come back down pit lane here. There's only 2 cars on the lead lap. No one could take that wave around because the cars that were a lap down were all involved in the accident, and even a lot of the lead lap cars end up being involved in that. So Eli Sasek sits in the catbird seat. A lot of cars involved in that accident will make this a very interesting race to watch as we approach the second half. Second half starts the end of next lap as we approach lap 42 of 83. For everyone tuning in, this is a wild turn of events that we have really encountered here. 2 cars on the lead lap. Eli Sasek in the 9, David Wright in the 42. Evan Eisenman 1 lap down. The rest of the field's down 2. But they're all racing each other. Susie, Dotson, Swatsworth, Hunt, all 2 laps down. McCarthy's 4 laps down. And his race may be over. We'll see what happens for him. He may be able to get back on and be 3 laps down and see if he can get lucky and have another massive accident here. But the green flag will fly, and it's a very timid restart for Eli Sasek. I don't think he knows what to do at the moment. Very lost and confused, but he knows he's in the hornet's nest because Susie and Swatsworth are still battling for the championship lead. And Dotson's not far away either. Noah Hunt's also now back in the mix for at least a podium. There's a chance. Sasek knows his biggest competition right now is David Wright, the 42, who's hanging back big time. And has every right to. The first half of the race is over. We've got 2 cars on the lead lap. We've got a 4-way fight for maybe a podium here. And Eli Sasek, who is dazed and confused, leading this race all of a sudden. Sasek leads the way. The outside lane full of cars trying to get back to 1 lap down. It puts them all on the same level playing field as Evan Eisenman at the moment, in theory. But again, it's all about making sure you actually finish the race. And you're seeing, oh! That was a crazy chop by Josh Susie. Almost took the leaders out. But now David Wright leads this race. And Josh Susie, just trying to stay 1 lap down, blocks Sasek again. Sasek leads. But everyone's trying to get around the 81 of Susie, who's now 1 lap down, whereas Swatsworth's down 2. Sasek goes to the inside lane. And Susie's making life impossibly difficult for Sasek at the moment. Racing as hard as possible to try to get back 1 lap down. Because a lap of separation, if a caution comes out, keeps Susie elevated above Swatsworth, who's right behind him right now. And the championship is again separated by a single solitary point. But you have to remind the drivers, being involved in what causes the caution does not give you the free pass. In order to get back on the lead lap, you've got to be able to stay clear of the cautions, not be in them or cause them. I feel like Susie's kind of overlooking that part of the rule with the free pass. You see David Wright's backed off of it. He sees what's going on between Sasek and Susie and Swatsworth. And David Wright is rightfully saying, play on, guys. Have fun. And so they are. David Wright's up near the wall. Everyone else following the white line. Unfortunately for David Wright, the outside line I don't think it's the safest line because everything shoots up the racetrack here. Again, for Sasek, it's about diminishing returns at this point. How much is this fight worth? Genuinely, how much is this fight worth? We saw this at Atlanta last night for the ABN Champ Car World Series. Exactly how difficult this can be. The law of diminishing returns. How much do you want to fight this fight instead of just trying to make it to the end of the race and score those decent points? Right now, he's guaranteed the top 2. How much do you want to throw that away? As a racing driver, you want to go hard. You want to push 110% every lap you can. But there's the smart drivers that win championships, and then there's the regular drivers that can pick off a couple race wins. There's a reason Sasek's not been a champion in ABN competition at any point in his career. Moments like these define a driver's career. Can you take an easy victory, or do you snatch defeat from the jaws of victory? We know Sasek typically is on the other side, the wrong end of that spectrum. He's usually on the other side of history. See, history is written by the victors. Sasek has not had a chance to write his own story. Almost got turned. David Wright did by Josh Susie. Evan Eisenman smart here. Here comes David Wright. Forces it to the inside lane. Sasek decides, I think, he has had enough. And with that stress, easy to tell why. David Wright now front of the field, leading this race. With Swatsworth and Susie in tow. Sasek in second. Last car on the lead lap. Sort of just in the mix. See what happens. How much of a disaster can it be? Whoa! Close there between Wright and Sasek, and Demonte Dotson had a little bit of PTSD flashback there. That Spirit Airlines car was about to live up to its name. Swatsworth now leading the field. He's only one lap down now. If the caution comes out here, him and Dotson both will get one of those laps back. Being one lap down, Susie will do the same. If he can get clear of the leaders, now it's side by side, not on the inside lane. Less than 30 laps to go. What has been a very intense race here at Homestead-Miami. Shoulder to shoulder. And it has not been kind. David Wright staying in this fight, trying to keep some of those cars 2 laps down. Dotson, Susie, Swatsworth, all in that fight. Smartest person on track is probably the driver you can't see, Noah Hunt. Learned his lesson from lap 1. He's been 2 laps down ever since. Now he's got company, but he's taking it easy. David Wright and Eli Sasek, front and center on your screen, the 42 and the 9. Battling it out for the lead of this race. They are on the tip of the mountain. Everyone else trying to climb. Less than 25 laps to go here in Homestead. Exercise in patience, exercise in futility. For some, Sasek almost loses it there to 4 once again. Dotson gets clear. This is a very interesting turn of events here for this race, and just how it's evolved so far. now gone single file. Swansworth leads Stussy, leading Dotson, Sasek, and Wright on the racetrack. Sasek leads this race over Wright. Eisenman sits in third a lap down. But one bad sneeze, one bad twitch of the steering wheel, and it could change things really bad for those at the front of the field. And again, there's also the hypothesis that there's still a pit stop that's needed in this race. If we need a green flag pit stop, this could be very interesting. Laps tick away, 20 to go. Surely there's a pit stop left, and I think that's kind of why everyone's shift has pivoted, really, from going all out full tilt to trying to save a little bit of fuel to make this last pit stop as short as humanly possible. Sasek leads the way. David Wright sitting at second. Started this race in sixth. He's now in second place. He's on the podium, and pretty securely so. Fast lap improved for him, 2:03.15, his fastest lap in this race so far. Race leader in front of him and to the left, the 9 car is Sasek. And you saw a glimpse there of the front wing, Evan Eisenman. Very interesting seeing Eisenman fight the way he is right now. I was trying to help his teammate, obviously. But you see where David Wright is on the racetrack there as opposed to the 44 Eisenman. Downshift there for Eisenman. So Eisenman's fighting some understeer in that car. Here in the downshift of 1 and 2. Once again, here comes David Wright. Eisenman really struggling there, loses a little bit, has to give it up. You see the speed difference there. That one little bobble taking off 4 miles an hour. David Wright, now right to the gearbox of Sasek, right where he wants to be. I think trying to make some moves here, trying to plan out that move here over the last 10 laps. Going for the race win. Dotson gets checked up by Susie. David Wright goes to the front of the field. Lead of this race, coming to 11 laps to go. And here comes the scramble. Wow. Almost a Rule 1 violation there between Eisenman and Sasek. David Wright leads, and now he's got DeMonte Dotson in between. Oh, this could be bad. That could have been horrible. David Wright squeezing into a very tight window. Susie blocks the inside lane. Eisenman had to back off of it. Try to go below the white line. It did not stick. Out of bounds area. Out of bounds for a reason. Ooh, contact there between the 42 of David Wright and the 18 of Shad Swatsworth. Susie still one lap down at the moment, but just. Here comes Sasek to the middle. Right on the inside lane. Swatsworth the outside lane, backing down a little bit. As the leaders go side by side, less than 10 laps to go. Whoa, huge time contact there. Probably gets a reminder that this race can end under yellow. There are no overtime restarts in this series. No green-white checkers. What kind of field are we going to see left of this race if it comes down to it? Susie defending like his life depends on it. Here comes David Wright, swings to the bottom of the racetrack. The question is, with the laps ticking down, 6 laps to go, are they gonna make it back to the white flag? David Wright, front of the field. And it's everyone just trying to get around Josh Susie, who's really fighting for not a lot at this point. Whoa! Here we go. Wow. David Wright had to back out of that one. That was not what he wanted to do. And Susie fighting up the racetrack. That's going to be illegal blocking for the 81. And everyone, I think, is kind of throwing that blocking rule out the window here. Darting left and right. Four to go at the line. Sasek leads over David Wright. That's the battle for the race lead. This is the 42 and the 9's fight for the race. Susie just trying to hold on to being 1 lap down in 4th. Sasek goes right to the white line. Pushes the 81 up the racetrack. And while up the racetrack, the 81 goes. The 9 has moved him. Now the 42 has a shot. 3 to go. And Susie's not going to appreciate being moved by Sasek. David Wright, front of the field. With 2 laps to go, 3 miles in hand. Sasek trying to hold on to the inside lane, but David Wright has the lead of the race. What's going to happen in these final 3 miles? Trouble. Trouble at the back of the field. Eisenman in the wall. Still green, coming to the white flag. 1 lap to go. We're on the last lap here in Miami. David Wright leads. Sasek in second. Eisenman in the wall. Susie now racing for the podium. So is Swatsworth. They're fighting, trying to get back around. Sasek to the inside lane. David Wright pushed up the racetrack. Swatsworth the third. Swatsworth to the points lead. Eli Sasek wins at Homestead. and everyone except for Eisenman made it back. But Chad Swatsworth on the podium takes third place. In a wild turn of events there. A huge turn of events there at the end of the race. It is Eli Sasek who comes away with the race win. And he will not get to do donuts to celebrate. Evan Eisenman crashing on the final lap throws him down from 3rd to 7th. He could not make it back to the start-finish line. Holy cow, that was a finish. Eli Sasek, your race winner here in Miami. An outstanding turn of events, a barnstorming finish there over David Wright. Chad Swatsworth takes 3rd place away there at the end. An incredible turn of events for all those involved. An absolutely wild race here tonight. We'll go over the results of this race. Thin pickings here tonight, but 10 cars made it a spectacle here in Miami. Eli Sasek, the race winner, over David Wright and Chad Swatsworth. Josh Susie from pole position ended up finishing 4th, losing the podium spot at the very end. Noah Hunt finishing 5th over DeMonte Dotson. Evan Eisenman rounding out the 7th place finish here tonight. Kyler McCarthy in 8th, Riley Dunn 9th, David Smeal, your top 10 is how that rounds out here in Homestead. A wild turn of events, but Eli Sasek with the race win, an absolutely phenomenal run. Let's talk to our race winner here, the number 9 car, Eli Sasek. This is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
That was a wild race. Didn't take a whole field to make a party, but what a riot that was. A race win here at Homestead. A very physical race for 10 cars.
Yeah, there was a lot of bumping. It was very close with the package we had. It was very easy to get next to a car. Once you got next to a car, it wasn't as easy to pass, but a lot of people were making very aggressive moves, me included. A lot of people were, just putting it in places, and I think it was overall a very fun race, and I'm very glad for the win. I feel like I've gone winless for a very long time, or at least it feels that way, so I'm very glad to at least snap this streak.
Obviously, a wild race here. We go 4 for 4. For you, obviously, kind of just doing this, I think a little bit more for fun. But now your car's sort of in that mix as far as being in that championship sort of running position. Obviously, it's very tight at the top here. But now you're in a field. You're in a conversation with obviously Chad Swatsworth, Josh Susie, some drivers that do really well in the Cup Series. Now you're on that footing with them here in the Champ Car Light Series. Obviously, Phoenix next week and then Indy the next 2 races. 2 races you should have a lot of experience with, probably the most of the drivers in the field racing in this series. Is there a chance you possibly find yourself in a chance to win your first HTL championship here?
Maybe. I don't really know how much I'd fare at Phoenix. Indy's cars, but I feel pretty confident for Indy, especially. I think it's one of the most enjoyable tracks for me to race at. I think it's one of my best, and Phoenix, I don't know how well I do there, but I'm still going to be looking for a top 5 or a top 10, maybe even just something to help in the points. I'm not really here to necessarily be in the points, but I'm also very competitive, so any result I get that is good and helps. I go for the wins in series like this and just having fun. So that's mainly the goal. But if I'm in the championship conversation at the end of the day, that's also a bonus. And I'd like to win a championship. That would be pretty cool, but it just depends on what happens in the next 2 races and throughout the rest of the season.
It was a phenomenal race tonight. A lot of fun watching everyone fight it out here at Homestead. Obviously, Phoenix next Thursday in this series, but you have Daytona, the Firecracker 400 on Monday. Obviously, a lot to go over here. Before we let you go and let you get ready for, obviously, trying to just make sure you get back into the playoffs there for the HTL Cup Series. If there's anyone you shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congrats on the effort here tonight in the race win here in Miami.
First, shout out all my family, everybody who kind of supports me. The Ascent Racing crew, we've done I think a good job lately of getting teams out in series, and getting people in and kind of into our little family here at Ascent, and especially Evan, who has been a nice little driving partner in this series so far, just helping him with learn the ropes of these cars. And he did pretty good before getting wrecked out at the end there, which is a bummer, but he still did pretty solid, I think. So just, I guess, thank you to you guys as well, and everybody who puts this on, and everybody who makes these races enjoyable to do.
Fantastic job, Eli Sasek. Race winner here, 4 for 4, and different winners per race. Eli Sasek this time, the winner at Homestead. We'll see him again on Monday in the HTL Cup Series. We'll also see him on Saturday for the ABN High Performance Championship. But Eli, enjoy the race win, and we'll see you again on track very soon.
Thank you.
That was Eli Sasek, a phenomenal race win for him. He now is top of the board here in Homestead. A phenomenal drive here tonight for him. Sees him top of the board again. Your running order. That was your standings entering this race. It's going to look a lot different after tonight. That is for sure. Your full running order here, your results as they are once again on your screen. 10 cars. They made it a wild one to watch. Eli Sasek, David Wright, Chad Swatsworth, your top 3. Josh Susie, 4th. Noah Hunt, top 5, over to Monte Dotson and Evan Eisenman, top 6. Kyler McCarthy, they're sitting in 8th. Riley Dunn in 9th. Davis Mill Jr., your top 10 here in Homestead. A wild turn of events here in Miami. 83 laps. A wild turn of events and coverage. Just over an hour of racing here. We'll see you again on Saturday. 2 races, one at 2 p.m. That is the ABN High Performance Championship. Can't wait to see you again. That is from Magny-Cours, the French Grand Prix, at, again, 2 p.m. Eastern. 8 p.m. Eastern, it is the ARCS High Octane Series. Live, once again, at 8 p.m. right here on ABN Studios. On behalf of everyone here for ABN, for HTL, the Champ Car Light Series, all the drivers and teams and partners of HTL, I'm Carmen Sienna. Thank you all so much for joining us here tonight. It's been an absolutely wild time. We wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you all so much. We'll see you again next time. Until then, so long. Take care. Stay safe. And have fun this weekend. Farewell, everyone.